Hi everybody, we are group 2. We are creating the Travel Endor app. So this is sprint 3, and in the sprint we have 4 user stories. This user story is about creating a login and session for the user. This is about to modifying the create event page so that the user can, instead of giving text field for the location, the user can give a pin for a map. And this user story is about showing all the events that are created in the map. And this is about sending text alert and email alert to the user who is creating the event. So this task is about creating dynamic menu bar based on session activity. That means when the user is logged in, he can see a different menu bar. So this is our application. So now we have just log in and sign up. So first, if the user logs in, he sees a different menu bar. So see, the menu bar has changes. And this is about creating session in the backend. That means for that user, whatever event is visible, so a separate set of events will be visible for another set of user. So this user has these two events. So if that user logs out and use and another user logs in, so let's create another user. So I am creating another user, right? So if I log in, so if I want to see all the events, sorry, wrong button. So it does not show any event because I have not created any. That means the session works for every user, and it's about making specific API call for each user that I have already shown. And this is about from the user, it takes the alert, takes the user's email, and instead of hard coding email, it gives the email alert to the user who is logged in. So for that I need a valid user to be logged in, right? I hope it gives an email alert to me. Um, Maybe for some reason it's getting delayed, so I can show you the previous alert that I got. So this is one alert that I got about my event, like that. So this task is about adding security. So this is again for each API call, making sure that user is authenticated and all. So both of them worked on together on that tasks. So this is about accepting user groups. So in this create event page, we can add more user if I want, and the phone number. So whenever that event is created, an alert goes to that user. So scope of this task was only front end, so we do not have the back end for that. So it's only about changing the schema in the back end, but the back end API is not in this scope. So it's only about accepting user groups and creating the schema like that. And this is about modifying the create event form to take the pin as a input instead of location. So there is one pin, so it can be draggable, and from that location that create event should take that location data to the go to field and generate an event. So so people were working on that, but then they found out that uh, this thing is paid, so they could not complete that feature because of the paid API, but they have worked on that thing. And if we can just pay the API, so we can show that feature also. We need a paid account, so we can show the feature also that we don't have right now. And this task is about modifying the user event model in the backend, and from the address that it gives, it translates that address to latitude and longitude and show the events in the view events page. So this task is about writing unit tests for the backend views and models. This is about showing the view events. Uh, in the events are shown as a map. So these events are shown as a map, and they are also connected. That means the A is the home for the user, so and for the rest of them are connected, so it comes alphabetically. The user starts from A, then goes to B, then goes again to C, then goes to D, and then comes back to A, like that. So this shows the driving route, so that's why it shows like that. So we will improve that feature later, so it will be more user friendly and more understandable and clear. We plan to add some arrows or any other marker by which the user knows when the user is going to those events and when they're coming back like that. That is the scope for the next sprint. And that is about this task is about sending email to the organizer. That means who is creating the event, and that is sending text message to the organizer. So I already showed those features. So text so it does not comes just like instantly, so would not show it, but I showed one of them from the previous email that I got. These are all the features that we have, and although we have implemented some of them, but we need to improve. Some of them are hard coded, and we need to make sure that the text message is going to the particular user that is logged in, like that. So that was not also the scope for this sprint also. And this sprint was also only for not 2 weeks, because we had a long weekend at the beginning, so that's why we could not add much more scope for this sprint. So Kanchan has worked on creating dynamic menu bar, creating on the session and the backend, making the API call. Namrata has worked on to the making the instead of hard coding email, getting the email from the session login and giving to the to that email alert. so that the alert goes to the logged in user, and worked on the security, making sure the API calls are happening for that particular logged in user. And this is about accepting user groups and the phone number to send notification. Namrata has also worked on the pinning location thing and making it draggable. Monica has also worked on the getting location constraint on the from the pin, and she was also the scrum master for this sprint. And I worked on showing all the modified the model of the API, added longitude latitude in it, and also reserved the longitude latitude from the address that is given. I wrote the unit tests for the backend views and models, and I worked on the front end for the view event to show all the events from the backend. Kaustav has worked on the sending an email to the organizer and sending text message to the organizer. That's it. So the value that we created is now we did not have the events are shown as a map. So now we have the events as shown as a map, and it also shows the routes to which the user can travel for a day. And the user, we have also authentication, so the user can only see the events for his only. It's not showing all the events from the database. And we also have the text alert and email alert thing. For now, it's also, although it's taking some time, but we will improve those features later and make sure that it works as expected. And we also have logout, and yeah, we also have the draggable pin. And if we find out how we can, without avoiding any payment, sorry, without avoiding any charge, if we get any free API or something, we can implement that draggable location thing. So that is the scope for the next sprint, I guess.